Hey, it's Kley. Welcome to another video, and pretty thrilled. This is going to be a follow-up to my Fender Blackface high gain amp. We're going to tinker with it a little bit more. As I mentioned in the first video, one of my objectives was to keep the stock Blackface tone on the Vibrato channel, and one of my first reactions with this amp mod was how the Vibrato channel is hot. It is louder, it has higher gain. With the master on 10, this amp is 20 or 30% higher gain, which was very surprising to me. I did a little bit of digging and I tried to figure out what was going on. So we're going to dive in and we're going to try to explain why that's happening, and then we're going to listen to some tone clips to see if that stock Fender tone is still in there. If you think that's interesting, go ahead and stay tuned. I also want to let you guys know I've got some links down in the description below. There are some ways that you can support my channel. If you're interested in the kind of content that I'm putting out and you want to encourage me to do more, one of the best ways to do that is to help support. I've got a new store with some merchandise. You can buy a couple t-shirts or a coffee mug. Something like that will support the channel and get some cool guitar tube gear if you want. I also have a Patreon that you can support me at there. Anything that goes to support me on any of those links is really going to help me make more videos. So if that sounds interesting to you, stay tuned and let's go check it out. So in trying to discover the mysteries of why this amp has been performing the way it has with the recent modifications, this is the schematic of what I've done, and the interesting thing was the vibrato channel was behaving a little bit oddly. It was higher gain. With the master volume cranked all the way to 10, it was hot, and I could not understand that. If you look here at what I did to the phase inverter, you know, you had this mixing point and then it went on. It just didn't make sense to me as to why, you know, the signal comes to this junction point and goes on to the phase inverter. But I drew this little diagram, and I also had another thought. Look at this point right here. This is the 410 volts of DC that supplies all the plates of the tubes. And so if we go back to this diagram, that's this guy located right here. So think about this. When you have an AC signal, that is like the audio signal, the guitar signal proceeding through the amplifier, when it sees a DC power supply, when I was building pedals, it came to my understanding that this is basically a ground to the AC signal. It functions like a ground. So, follow my diagram. You have the audio signal from the vibrato channel coming in to this gain stage, gets amplified, decouples through this 0.1 cap, 220K mixing resistor, then enters this junction. Again, this is the stock Blackface Fender. Certainly it can go to the right on the orange path into the phase inverter, but it also will check out this red path. You say, put a question mark here. Now there's going to be some resistance here at 220K. Kind of ignore this 0.047 capacitor and ignore the tube, but then a 100K to DC power supply. When you run a resistor in series with the signal and then have another resistor parallel to ground, that is a voltage divider. So if I'm looking at this correctly, I believe that this is kind of a pseudo voltage divider that allows some of the signal to bleed off to the power supply, question mark? Any which way, this would explain the phenomena that I was experiencing. Basically, if I turn the master volume to like 6 or 7, I would get the amp to be at a similar level of like cleanliness and headroom. And so I believe that is because I'm kind of simulating what you would achieve with this voltage divider. So, kind of an interesting thing to think about. So the purpose of that, I think, is to explain what you were hearing in those tone clips. To my feel, with the master volume on 7, the vibrato channel feels awesome. It feels just like the classic Blackface amp. And now adding this high gain channel really has added a whole new voice to play around with. So I'm pretty excited about this. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. I'm sure I'll be experimenting with the lead channel some more in some future videos, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks. Bye.